Okay, I guess it's a little just after 4 o'clock. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce myself and say welcome to everyone for joining us. My name's Johan Pereira. I'm the Area General Manager for Hummingbird Digital Print Solutions for Georgia Pacific. Appreciate you guys joining us today for the session. I'm happy to have Elizabeth Gillette and Casey. Again, Casey's not with us right now, but he should hopefully be joining us. If not, Elizabeth is going to take it and run with it. We also have Greg McLeod. Greg is our sales representative for Georgia Pacific, works out at Olympia plant in Washington. And Casey, who's not with us right now, is the Chief Operating Officer for Top Hat Mushrooms. And Elizabeth is the Marketing Manager for Top Hat Mushrooms. It's a third generation family owned mushroom grower based in the Pacific Northwest. And Greg has also worked with them for the past 2 years. Before we start, I'd like you guys to log on. We're using a customer engagement software called Slido. So if you have a phone, you can scan a QR code. The next slide will show you a QR code. If you scan that, it'll bring you to the app. All you have to do is type in your name and your email. Otherwise, if you're not able to scan a QR code, then if you would just go to slido.com, and then it should give you a code, event code. I guess in this one, you would use the hashtag or # PMA Fresh Summit, and that would get you in there. So if you could take a moment real quick, upload the Slido comments and get that information going, then we'll start. We'll use this for any questions you have during the session, so you can ask your questions, or also we're going to ask a couple questions of you, get some feedback, and just some fun questions to get us started. All right, so our first question is whether you can identify the shiitake mushroom in these pictures. So if you go to your phone and just pick an answer, we'll see who the winner is. So I got about 8 seconds left to get your answers in.
Yeah, no pressure.
It's just a mushroom. All right. Ooh, I think B threw some people off there.
Nice try.
So we got 80%, right? I can't see the whole screen there, but looks like the winner was Alexis Peterson. I think
congratulations, Alexis.
No, nice job, Alexis. Appreciate it. All right. Going to our second question. We have one more before we start. And that is, what's your current role with your company? Now, this will help us engaging our conversation, understanding if you're focused towards operations, if you're focused towards marketing, sales. Just interested to know what our audience, what your roles are with your company. It's like we have marketing, sales, account executive, buyer. Marketing's the big one. So that's good. That's what Hummingbird's all about. So we'll help you with your marketing needs. All right. I think we'll go ahead and move on. Appreciate the feedback. So as we mentioned before, we'd like to share the story with Top Hat Mushroom and how they enhanced and embraced the change in a way that has proved incredibly successful, especially during the time of COVID. We'll also show you how pivoting to digital printed corrugated packaging was a perfect solution for them, and how Top Hat exceeded their expectations in 3 ways. 1, it cost less than what they expected. 2, it was logistically easier than they expected. And the final one, it delivered higher quality than they expected as well. At this point, I'd like to hand it off to Elizabeth so she can give her feedback and run us through the story of Top Hat working with us.
Thanks, Johan. So I'm Elizabeth. I'm the marketing manager at Top Hat Mushrooms. Unfortunately, Casey isn't here right now. He's probably got tied up on the farm. You know, farming never stops. So here we are. Our company was started in 1991 by my father-in-law, Robin, who decided he was going to specialize in the most difficult mushroom to grow, which was shiitake. And he was doing a great job trucking along, you know, doing the same thing that he'd done for a long, long time. And then we got hit with the Chinese imported mushroom logs that they started flooding the market. And it had a detrimental effect to our business and to many shiitake growers across the United States. These were cheaper. They were being labeled as product of the USA because they were being harvested in the USA, even though none of the product from the very beginning stages until actually harvest was actually a US product. And so we had to make a decision. Were we going to just give up and start growing these Chinese mushrooms also, or were we going to go a different route and continue doing what we do best, which is grow amazing shiitake mushrooms? And we decided that we were going to change what we were doing and hit a different market. At this point, we remain the largest grower west of the Mississippi that we know of that is growing completely American grown mushrooms from American made substrates with absolutely nothing imported from anywhere overseas. So that was really important it's important to understand that, and why we continued doing what we decided to do, which was change our model from wholesale to direct to retail. And in order to do that, we had to look for a company that was going to help make it a little bit easier for us, because this was completely new for us. When the market started to change, we knew that wholesale was not gonna grow and thrive the way that it had been since the 90s. So we decided to cut out the middleman, remake and rebrand ourselves. We launched a website. We got a new logo. We wanted to really appeal to the retailers and their customers. And so that's where we went.
Is that a pretty daunting challenge for you?
Yes, it was daunting, especially at first, because, you know, from the 90s, we'd been trucking along, growing a great mushroom and having pretty good profit margins. And we had the mentality that, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Which I think is a pretty good motto when you've been running a business well for nearly 3 decades. We were able to make some small changes here and there to break it down and kind of step up the ladder rung by rung. You know, first we did the new logo and launching our website and rebranding that way to make our product appeal to the end customer. The potential upside of making this move to retail, it was worth venturing into this unknown territory.
So do you have any advice for anyone considering a similar move?
Definitely take it one step at a time, and it can definitely be an entirely manageable process. First, we just figured out our target market, and we decided to aim for the bigger box retail, you know, the club warehouse stores. And from there, we began to work on the packaging, and we honed in on the exact clamshell size we wanted. We did all of our shelf life studies, all these little steps that added up and started to take us in the direction we needed to go. We designed our new label, our UPC, and our barcodes for the clamshells. We had to just put all these pieces together to make sure that our product would have the maximum visual appeal for our potential customers and for their consumers. And the final piece of this puzzle, after rebranding, after learning labeling laws, you know, all of those things that were foreign to us before, the last piece of the puzzle was we needed a master case that would hold our clamshells, that was gonna look fantastic, be strong enough for shipping, and be cost effective We also wanted to make sure that Top Hat Mushrooms was differentiated from all the other produce boxes in the coolers, and that would give customers a reason to pick up our product instead of somebody else's. Because when you see quality packaging, it gives a different sense of professionalism, and that's what we were going for.
Perfect. And that's where Hummingbird and Georgia Pacific come into play. At this point, I'd like to bring Greg McLeod, our sales representative out of Olympia, Washington, into the discussion. But before we do that, we have one more Slido question. So the question here is, what other factors would you need to consider when making the move to retail? So you have a few choices there. If you guys take a few moments and put in your answers, we'd appreciate it. Looks like people are thinking about it. Oh, wow. All right. Appreciate the answers. At this point, I'll hand it off to Greg, so Greg can kind of walk us through his experience and input of working with Top Hat Mushroom.
Yeah, thank you, Johan. Really impressed with just Casey and his team's vision for what they wanted to accomplish. Getting together in the beginning, just really talking about various options for creating the quality look that they wanted to achieve, and then quickly realized that GP Hummingbird's digital print services were a perfect fit for Top Hat. The Hummingbird produces, optimal corrugated packaging without the heavy upfront investments for printing plates that traditional processes require. Top Hat's current supplier, they had created a sample for a master case, so they were able to have, really a traditional flexo printed option, and then they also had, which we have the ability to do, is to produce actually a digital, real live sample for them, and that side-by-side comparison definitely, sitting side by side, we knew immediately that we had won a new customer over. Just the wow factor with them was just incredible. It was just nice to see, how well it was perceived from their team. And I think you can see that there between what they had before and what the new master case looked like. So with that.
Yeah, I think simply put, you had nailed it. GP wowed us. I'll never forget that meeting where we had, a competitor's box sample, and then we pulled out GP's sample and our jaws hit the floor. It was so much more beautiful. It was just so much more than we could have ever imagined being able to afford, being able to provide to our customers. When we looked at them side by side, it was obvious that GP could provide us with that higher quality product. And it really was a competitive price point. Seeing that sample, it helped us realize that we really had something that was absolutely going to be successful.
All right. I take this moment just to jump in real quick. Obviously, that's one of the reasons why digital print is an optimized solution for the produce industry. We provide photo quality print. The colors jump out, they pop out on the packaging, and you guys are growing beautiful fruits and vegetables, and you really want that to come across to your customers, and you want that on your packaging, and that's what digital really provides you. Getting that photo quality on a box really makes a difference. Top Hat Mushroom has a picture of their mushroom on the box, and you can't tell the difference between the mushroom on the box and the mushroom in the box. And, that also goes to the credit of Top Hat Mushroom and the quality of their product and the quality of the mushrooms that they grow and how it looks on the box. And you're getting what you see, and that sells. It makes a big difference. So, that's one. The other thing, just on Hummingbird, we run 110-inch press. That allows us to get into the bulk bin business, a lot of produce in bulk bins, also large format that isn't normally achievable in the sheet presses and other types of substrate. We are the only large format digital print provider in the northern United States. Also, we had one of our customers, and you can see in the pictures here, that did a bulk bin. with watermelons. It was designed so that the box looked like the crate matched the pallet that it sat on. You could see the pumpkins peeking out between the slats, but that's not really the pumpkins. That's just digital print between digital printed wooden slats. But it's great. And if you look at those pictures, you can see the pumpkins in there. You can't really tell that what you're seeing through those slats isn't really actual pumpkins. And those are the type of things we can achieve with digital print. And pictures say 1,000 words, and I'm glad we have some pictures that we can share with our audience today. Let's see. Yeah, the other thing I guess I can hit on here is just that design alone would have been cost prohibitive in a lot of other areas, especially trying to do traditional print. It requires tens of thousands of dollars in print plates and setup costs that just puts you out of the market. With digital, there are no print plates. You can change designs as frequently as you want. The other thing it gives you the ability to do is put store names on there. You can adapt it locations by regions, season, different products you can put in there too, and change it from pumpkins to watermelons depending on the season. Let's see. So this point, Elizabeth, I was wondering, do you feel like the more visually appealing packaging help secure your business with the club warehouse store?
Absolutely. The digital packaging that GP created for us, it was one of the main reasons why we were able to win a major warehouse customer. They were really impressed with our product. When we went to the cooler afterwards and walked through and saw our box and our mushrooms there, you just hone right into it. It's just beautiful. It's bright. It's catchy. And that's the whole point. You want your customer and your consumer to go directly to your product. And selling direct to retail, it was such a necessary and such a good move for our company. Before COVID-19, we were on a really strong growth trajectory, and we were beginning to talk about expansion. It would have been our second in about 5 years, which is great. But the pandemic softened that growth a little bit. There's no question that we're in a much better position right now than we would have been now that we're in the warehouse, that big warehouse store. Selling to wholesale, it was really limiting to us. So the restaurant industry, obviously, it's been hit really hard by COVID-19. And so growers are definitely seeing that soften their demand. But retail demand has stayed really strong, and it's been critical for our survival at Top Hat Mushrooms. So I think having this bright, beautiful box coupled with our product, which honestly is just a beautiful, well-grown product, I think that's those two things were necessary for us getting that warehouse customer.
Well, what would you say to other growers out there that are facing similar challenges during this time?
Don't be afraid to make a change. It can be really scary to make a big change. Like, we went from wholesale to our own label, everything's under our own name, and direct to retail. Just take it one step at a time. Make sure that you're working with a supplier that is going to help you make it easier. Working with Greg at GP, it's been phenomenal. He's taken a lot of the heavy lifting from us, and he's super knowledgeable. They provided just great guidance for us during this transition. We had a lot of questions, like, well, what do we need for this? What do we need can we put a barcode? What barcode do we have to have? And we just took it one step at a time, and they helped us through it. Every new endeavor requires some tweaks, some adjustments along the way, some back and forth. We don't quite like that color. Okay, we're going to send you a sheet full of all the colors we can print, and we're going to do it overnight. And just that superior customer service. If you can find a supplier who's looking for the next great opportunity for you and your company, then all the better. And that's GP.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate it. For for the benefit of our audience, Greg, what in your experience, what have you seen that you would recommend and or challenges you've faced in transitioning from traditional print to digital print?
Well, like Top Hat, Casey and Elizabeth, you know, they were willing to step out and try new approaches, and that was a big benefit to Top Hat. I know, like Elizabeth said, it can be scary. You're changing your brand, you're changing your business model, and then you're also changing a supplier. That's a big part of that, right? So you're hoping all that comes together and works well. And then, of course, you know, you throw COVID-19 in there, right? So we're battling through that. So, you know, another really cool opportunity that we had is within the digital print capabilities is, you know, when Hummingbird knew the challenge that was in front of us with, you know, they had a craft master pack tray that they wanted on digital print, and Hummingbird stepped up and made that happen, and we did some trials together. And not only are they receiving the benefit of a digital craft tray, but they also have a white ChemiLiner digital print tray for the warehouse. So it all came through right at the right time and for the right reasons. And yeah, it couldn't have happened unless you're willing to you know, take a chance, you know, with each other and make sure that communication goes well and just really trust each other. And just at the end of the day, it was a win-win for both sides. So it obviously gave them flexibility of cost for the graphics based on you know, their packaging structure and what they needed it for the right market.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I mean that's a great example of the versatility of digital print. We can print on numerous substrates. We can print on Chemi, we can print on Masterliner, on white top, and in this case on craft. And a lot of times people don't associate high graphics with craft, but Top Hat's proved it, and it looks beautiful, and they did a great job. And really, there's the versatility. You can do almost anything you want. It just depends what you're trying to achieve with your customers. But you know, I give a lot of credit to Top Hat for doing that and taking the chance of printing, you know, high quality graphics on craft, and I think they nailed it. You know, with the flexibility of Hummingbird, it opens up marketing opportunities for growers. Packaging can easily be updated for seasonal promotions or store-specific labeling. You could go to the warehouse customers or the warehouse stores, the club stores, and you can put their specific logos on there. Even year-round produce like apples and mushrooms, you can benefit from changing markets, regions, locations, seasons, and how they use it. And you can help your customers connect with the various ways that consumers use their product throughout the year.
That's an excellent point. We have a QR code on our box. It originally drove our customers to our homepage, but we just completed a beautiful PDF recipe book. And so now we're going to be switching our QR code so that it drives people to our recipe page, because that's what people want. They want to know how to use these mushrooms. So we're going to meet that need by just changing our QR code. Next year, we're planning to change the imagery a little bit of our package to connect with more of an outdoor grilling season, which will be great because people want to know, you know, this is a mushroom. It's beautiful. I want to cook with it, but how? So we're just going to make that really obvious for them, and it's going to be quick and easy. The changes, they might seem really small, but in the competitive retail environment, it's so important to take every opportunity to engage your consumers.
Yeah, and I'd reiterate again, we can make those changes in digital, and it doesn't cost additional money. If you try to make those changes traditional print, it's new print plates, and you can't make the changes. You don't have the flexibility that we do. So that's one of the big benefits on the digital side. I think our next one, we have another Slido question. Question is, how would you most likely put digital print to work for your company? If you take a few moments to answer that, I'd appreciate it.
Wow.
All right, the answers are coming in. All right. Looks like top three were better brand presence, which we agree with. Product differentiation, definitely on the shelves, it stands out. It makes a big difference. And then new product launches, it's a good opportunity as well. And then consumer engagement, QR codes, augmented reality. We've done the augmented reality where we've had the customer can use their phone and look at a caption or a little target on there, and it's 3D, and it jumps out of the box at you, and it actually plays audio, and it's pretty neat. It's a good way to get your customers engaged with the product. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. Augmented reality is definitely an interesting one. So in wrapping up, as you've heard, rethinking your approach to packaging with digital print solutions can be one of many ways to help transform your business while remaining competitive. I'd like to thank Elizabeth. I know Casey unfortunately wasn't able to join us, but Elizabeth, thank you very much for covering for all your input.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And I know it's taken a lot of time out of your day. So we appreciate the work you've done with us, the opportunities you've given us. And, we do look forward to working with Top Hat Mushroom as we continue.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to thank Greg, our sales representative out of Olympia, for the relationship he's had, for bringing this opportunity and working on this opportunity with Top Hat Mushroom. He's been working with them for over 2 years now, and he's done a great job, and I appreciate him also. His customer wouldn't be willing to come on and do this if he didn't do a good job, right? So I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Greg.
You bet. Anytime.
And at this time, we'd be happy to answer any questions about our work. Top Hat Mushroom, Elizabeth's here if anyone's interested in their work and what they do, or anything else any other topics that our audience be interested in.
All right, Johan. We've got one question from the audience about sustainability and the importance of sustainability for both brands and the suppliers. So this could be a question for both Johan and Greg and Elizabeth. How does sustainability play a part in your decision-making for packaging? And then how does digital print bring sustainable options to the packaging?
I can answer that on our side and then see if Elizabeth had anything from the customer standpoint. But as far as our packaging goes, for the digital print, it is 100% recyclable. Our paper that we run has a mix of both recycled and virgin fiber. And again, for true sustainability, you do need that mix. 100% recycled is not sustainable, but we do have a mix of recycled and virgin fiber in most of our substrates. The other thing is we're part of the Sustainable Forest Initiative. And then as far as the environmental concerns go, our inks, there is no waste in our ink. Traditional print has print plates, ink. There's a lot of waste water and wash ups when you're cleaning the inks off of the plates and all the excess. There is no excess. If you think of a printer at home, it's the same thing. It's just a large printer. And so if you think of a printer, it just puts the print you need on the paper. Same thing with ours. We have print heads throughout our machine, our press, and it puts just the ink that's needed on the paper. There is no waste, no excess, no wash up, no wastewater involved. And then the other part we did talk about was print plates. We don't have any print plates involved, so there's no added liquid polymers or waste, or when things go obsolete where you're throwing and adding to the waste system. So it is very environmentally friendly, very low impact on the environment, and very sustainable.
Yeah, that was a huge selling point for us at Top Hat, because we are a sustainable farm. We want to preserve our farm for our kids and our kids' kids. And we needed to make sure that whatever packaging we chose was either recycled and also recyclable and or reusable. So that's something that we heavily looked into and made sure that we weren't choosing a box that had a wax coating or anything that would make it not able to go into the recycling bin. But that's why GP again stood up and said, we've got it. We've got the right thing for you guys. So thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Great. Well, we have come up on time. I have not seen any other questions come in that have not been already addressed throughout our webinar. So Johan, I'll let you wrap it up.
All right. Well, hey, again, appreciate everyone that did join for joining. Appreciate the feedback you gave us on the Slido questions and taking part and making it a little interactive. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in. We do have your email attached to that Slido engagement tool, so we can reach out to you and give you some answers if you didn't want to bring them up for the entire group, but you do have specific questions, just send them to us and we'll get back to you. Again, Elizabeth, thank you very much for your time. Greg, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
And thank you, everyone. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.